Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Closer Encounters. I am your host, Clarence Mitchell, and we're coming to you live from somewhere in Minnesota. Closer Encounters is broadcasting live from Spreaker, and we are always live streaming on Facebook. www.facebook.com/Closer Encounters Radio. And please don't forget to like, follow, and share. Would you like to be a guest on Closer Encounters? Or do you know somebody who would like to be a guest on Closer Encounters? Please send us an email, closerencounters.info@gmail.com. That's closerencounters.info@gmail.com. For everything Closer Encounters, check out our new webpage at www.closerencounters.space. Hello everyone, Closer Encounters Radio, the live show. Yeah, it's been a little bit different for me here the last few days, being that I've split the shows up now. Some of you know, I'm doing the actual radio slash podcast Monday through Friday now at 6 o'clock. We are doing the Facebook live shows Saturday nights at 6 o'clock. So, there'll be 6 days of Closer Encounters, but, 5 of those days will be on Spreaker, and the one day, of course, will be here on Facebook. I am not recording this one tonight, as I explained on the last show that we did. Because I got so many monitors and stuff running, the CPU usage is just pretty whacked out, and it various games with my equipment. I'll kind of separate them so I have more power and whatever, for doing what I do. Unfortunately, it's until I get a better setup, which, who knows when I'll be able to do that, but, it is what it is. So anyway, but I see we got some people already in the room here, and I'd like to say hi to Gail, and my mom's in there. Who else do we have? Let's see. Julie's with us. Very good. Cool. Awesome. So, yeah, fantastic. Okay. Well, got some pretty cool stuff to show you tonight, or, talk about anyway. I did a show My last one here was Thursday night. I didn't do one Friday night, but I did do one on Thursday. Last night I actually wound up, believe it or not, falling asleep and took a nap in the afternoon. I didn't wake up till after 7. Uh-oh, you know, so yeah, I kind of boo-booed on that. But hey, it happens, I guess. So yeah, I missed the show last night. But if anyone didn't catch that show, we're going to kind of redo it tonight on the live feed tonight, and bring everybody up to speed about what I'm talking about and what's going on. But I think I found something that's in my opinion is kind of amazing, and as I'm working with it and around it, it seems to give me an answer a few things that's been out in the world and stuff. And well, if you follow along and whatever, I think you'll understand by the time we get to the end here, you know. And hopefully you know, we're on the right track, but you never know. You know, new kind of theory, new kind of thesis, whatever you want to call it. But you know, you got to start somewhere, and I may be totally off on this, but then again, you know, who knows for sure. So, but what I have going on is I listen to a lot of podcasts, you know, different radio shows, and I watch, you know, YouTube videos and things of that nature, and of course there's a lot of postings, you know, around the internet, you know, different groups that I belong to and things like that, and a lot of times you see these posts and you hear people talk about aliens and UFOs and nature, and the subject always comes up sometimes about, you know, like things like missing people, you know, different things, and you hear all this conglomerate stories about like underground aliens and how people believe that you know, there's aliens that kidnap people. They take them for whatever reason and they don't bring them back. Some people take that to another extreme and think that maybe they're being cannibalized, you know, by these aliens, that they're using them as a food source. And, you know, and the plot goes on and on and on. Well, by the time you get done with all of these stories and different things, you wind up with this gigantic mass of what I call just pure craziness, okay? So I want people to stop tonight and just take a giant leap step backwards, okay? And let's drop the UFO stuff and set it aside, okay? Let's just for tonight, you know, for a little while anyway. Of course, you know, I believe in aliens, you know, extraterrestrials, EBEs, what call them what you will, and UFOs. I have no choice in that matter, okay? But what I'm going to bring to you tonight stems around this idea, okay, around aliens and stuff like that, but it's not projected, you know, into the alien theory or the UFO theory, okay? So once I get going on this, you'll understand exactly where I'm coming from, all right? Trying to say in the short run, easy definition or whatever, not everything is alien slash UFO connected. Okay? There are reasons why certain things happen, and I think I found the biggest part of this reason. Okay, now, for those of you who like to do a little research, you know, and want to take the time, I want you to grab a notepad and a piece of paper, you know, notepad, whatever, pencil, pen, you know, something to write some things down, and try to follow along with me if you will, and we'll go through this step by step. So I'm trying to make it easy for people to understand what's happening here, and you know, hopefully, you know, we can work through this together, and you know, whatever. So, hello Renee, how are you? Wow, long time no see. Fantastic. Okay, so if you got a piece of paper or a pad, you know, something to write with. First thing I want you to do is write down. I came up with a few things here that I think match the criteria of the ordeal that I'm going to talk about here. So I want you to write these things down, if you would, and we can talk about them a little bit as we go along. The first one I want you guys to write down is strange disappearances. Strange disappearances. That would be the first thing. Secondly on the list, I'd like to have you write down deja vu. Okay? The third thing I would like you to write down, spontaneous human combustion. The fourth thing I would like you to write down, near death slash out of body experiences. The fifth thing I would like you to write down is missing time. And the sixth and final thing I would like you to write down is triple numbers, such as 111, 222, 333. Okay? Those are the 6 things I'd like to have you write down. Hello, Christina. Bella, how are you? Strange disappearances, deja vu, spontaneous human combustion, near death slash out, missing time, and triple numbers, 111, 222, 333, etc., etc. Okay. Hello, Mary Jane. How are you? Glad to see you. Now, first thing I want to do, let's see here. Is type in, I don't know if I can, maybe I can just ask Google about this. Let me see if I can ask Google. If not, I'll just type it in here. Strange disappearances. Try that again. Strange disappearances. Okay. Oh, I guess I'm not hooked into the system. Okay, well, I guess we'll just type it in. That's okay. We'll type her in. Strange disappearances. There we go. Let's see here. Scroll down, see if I can find these for you. Recent strange disappearances, 13 across America, blah, blah, blah. Now, I want to let you know that just in the year 2018, there was reported 87,608 people just in the Americas alone missing. Now, some of these obviously are kidnappings, you know, downright murders, you know, things of this nature. But what I'm really trying to discuss are the disappearances of people that just up and disappear with no trace whatsoever. Okay, in other words, you know, somebody who is here one second and gone the next for no logical reason. Hello, Kevin. How are you, sir? Nice to see you. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, Kevin, you and a couple others there, Dale Bosey and others who've been sharing my shows, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate that. It's really helping us out. And I thank you all for that. Thank you. Well, of course, this isn't going to bring up what I'm looking for. Okay, well, I guess I can just tell you I'm not going to try to go through all this because it's just going to waste more time when we don't have a whole lot. Mr. Rob, how are you, sir? Glad to see you. Glad you're with us. So anyway, the most mysterious disappearances, and I'll give you a couple examples here on a television show not too long ago. I believe it was actually called Strange Disappearances, or you know, mysterious disappearances or whatever, and they went out to try to find out what happened to a couple of people that, you know, had been reported missing and had not returned. Okay, and one of the examples was a couple of guys who were avid mountain hikers, and they'd done this kind of thing for many years together. They were good friends, and they would go to these mountains, you know, like Mount Shasta and different other places like that, and they would take these trails and they would climb these mountains, you know, different things. Now, I the actual location of this, but you get the gist of it. These two guys were climbing the mountain, and the one mountain climber was going to take a break, you know, whatever. And his buddy says, okay, well, I'm going to go on just a little bit further, and, you know, we'll stop there or whatever, and, you know, I'll meet you up there. Well, where this guy was headed to this certain location, the plateau actually kind of flattens off. You know, it's on the side of a hill, but it's got like a flat plateau and whatever. There's nothing basically in eyesight, in blocking your view or anything of this particular person. So you could actually watch this person walking across this plateau, from one spot to the other. Now, we're only talking a very, very short distance here. A few thousand yards or whatever it was. Maybe 4, 5, 6 football fields. It really wasn't that far away. You could probably actually scream and hear each other. Okay. So anyway, the partner, the guy who was sitting down taking a break, was watching his friend walk across this ordeal. He decides to get something out of his backpack or out of his knapsack, whatever, and he's fumbling around, and that, and he happens to look up, and his friend is no longer in sight. He disappeared. And he's like, wow, maybe went a little bit further or something, wasn't sure what happened, but you're talking just a few minutes, not that big of a deal. So he gathers up his stuff and he takes off, figures, okay, I'm going to go catch up with him, whatever. Gets to the location where they're supposed to be, and the guy's nowhere in sight, okay? He found, personal belongings, not very much stuff, but, there were a couple of items there that belonged to him, and this and that, but his... And the big thing about it was, like I said earlier, was he should have been able to see him from point A to point B. And for whatever reason, another case and scenario was a family that was in Chaco Canyon. Very famous Native American, site. And kind of the same scenario. The one gentleman says, hey, I'm going to take a break. You guys walk on up the trail, which was just a few hundred yards, whatever, not that far away. And wait for me, and I'll be up there in just a few minutes. I just got to catch my breath, blah, blah, blah. So they're like, okay, not a problem. Now, mind you, there's nobody else around at this time. It's just them. The rest of the family, the group, goes on up around the area, and they get up there and they're drinking their water and they're waiting and all this stuff, and they're like, gee whiz, it's taking them an awful long time to get here, So a couple of them decide, okay, let's backtrack and go back down and see if he's okay. Maybe something's wrong with him, And they get down there, the guy's missing. Okay, no reason for it, just up and disappears. No reason whatsoever. And so there was few instances like this, that I put in that category, strange disappearances, okay? And there are, if you do your research, there are tons and tons worldwide, not just in the Americas, all right? These are just a couple of things that, happen here and there. But these are worldwide, and, there is just an astronomical amount of people, human beings, that come up missing every year. It's just hundreds of thousands. I believe when I did the Google search here the other night, you could hear my podcast, but it was in the range of like 4,430 some thousand people, worldwide in just like 1 year. That's a lot of people, okay? Not every one of them, obviously, is kidnapping and, different things. But I broke it down to different genres like Canada, the U.S., Mexico, Brazil, the U.K., Germany. There was, it gave a breakdown deal of how many people from each area had come up missing, and it was quite astonishing. Okay, quite astonishing. Just totally unbelievable. So we'll check that off our list for the time being, but I just wanted to explain to you why I chose the strange disappearances, okay, and what we're talking about when I say that. Okay. The second one on the list, of course, is deja vu. If you've never had it, you're not alive, okay? I say that jokingly. But everybody knows pretty much what deja vu is. Usually you're doing something and you think that you have done it before, or you just have that overwhelming feeling that, wow, I've done this, or I've talked to this person before, or, you know, there's always some case of that, and it just boggles the mind, okay? It's really a strange occurrence, and, you know, they still really can't explain it, but that's, you know, one of those deals. The third one on the list we had on here was spontaneous human combustion. And this one, some of you may or may not know, but they've had, I forget how many cases there were. There were quite a few hundred cases of this, and actually it's still going on to this day. I think the last one was just like a year or so ago. But this happens all around the world also. And what it basically is a person's body will literally catch fire. And they burn with so much heat that it actually turns your bones into ash. It's like a self-crematorium, okay? A lot of times they notice that, you know, part of the legs or the feet, and sometimes the arms and hands are the only thing left of these people. But the torsos, you know, the majority of your legs, your chest, you know, your back, your head, your skull, everything else is just nothing but ash, kind of like a fatty substance, you know, whatever. But there's nothing left. There's no bone. The big thing about this is, and this is really crazy, if they're sitting in a chair, they're lying in bed when this happens, the chair or the bed will literally catch fire in the only spot that they're sitting in, all right, and it burns a hole through it, and they, you know, wind up basically through the springs onto the floor, whatever. Same thing on a mattress. It'll burn the mattress, you know, partially, but usually, you know, it burns through, and they, you know, they're underneath the bed, or, you know, it works. There is so much heat inside their house or inside the room that they're at, and it doesn't catch the house on fire or the bedroom on fire or anything like that, excuse me, but it will melt things, okay? Like light bulbs in the fixtures will actually melt. Soot all over the walls. It peels the paint sometimes, you know, things like that. Different things, but the heat is so intense, but nothing else catches fire, okay? Which by rights, literally, it should have torched the place right to the ground, okay? But it's just crazy, you know, it's like, how in the hell would you have a fire like that and not burn the house down? But that's what happens. But the biggest pile of rubble they find or whatever is usually what's left of the human body, which is just a gooey mess, ash, whatever, you know, on the floor. Now, there have been a couple documented cases of this where it actually happens out in public. I think the last case was a woman, which they claim also that more is a man. I think out of all the cases, they said that maybe 1/10 or something like that was men, and the rest were all women. It's quite a high rate in women. this happening. But the last case, like I said, coming back from a grocery store or something of that nature, and she literally burst into flames in public, and it out of everybody, and nobody really knew what was happening. By the time they called the ambulance and stuff to come get her and whatever, she pretty much had melted into a pile of nothingness. Okay, pretty crazy stories, you know. But that is spontaneous human combustion. Whether you believe in it or not, it has happened. It's been documented, and there you go. Okay, so I just wanted, and that's one of the biggest ones that I wanted you to make sure that you wrote down, was spontaneous human combustion. Pretty crazy stuff. Okay, the next one we had on our list was near-death / out-of-body experiences. Now, most everybody knows what this is. Okay, most people have things, or they're on operating tables, having surgery done, car crashes, you know, this kind of thing. Something traumatic happens, and you quite possibly die, and you feel yourself being taken out of your body. You look around, you know your surroundings, you look down, you see your body, you hear what people have to say, yada yada yada. Now some people only make it to a certain distance, and then they're zapped back into their body and they wake up. Other people go through you know, that tunnel, they see the bright light, they get there, and they're told, turn around, go back, you know, it's not your time, you know, this kind of thing. But normally, most of the time, after they wake up, they're well aware of what's going on around them, and by rights, it shouldn't have been. You know, they were pronounced dead, activity, nothing, okay? But somehow they made it back, okay? So that's near-death / out-of-body experiences. The fifth one on the list, of course, is missing time. Now, I wasn't going to add the alien / UFO thing to this tonight, like I explained. But most missing time, I'm going to say most, but a lot of missing time episodes is in conjunction aliens and UFOs. Okay, that's one of the biggest things that people talk about with missing time, is they've been abducted or had a visitation, and of course there's missing time. Now, that's not always the case. There are other cases of missing time. You know, talk about having missing time. They're driving their car, they're going down the road, say like from the grocery store to their house. They leave the store at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They don't show up to the house until 5. Okay? 4 blocks away, whatever. What happened? Okay? Missing time. You know, these kind of things. So, and they don't have any recollection of UFOs or aliens and, you know, whatever. So, I just wanted to put that in there so you understood what missing time is and what we're talking about. Yes, it is associated with UFOs and aliens a lot of times, but that's not what we're talking about here, okay? And, of course, number 6 is the triple numbers, 111, 222, 333. And I have been recently plagued with this for whatever reason. I really don't know. But as you listen to my show that I did Thursday and I explained to it, you know, we went to Google and I back, and basically what it's saying is it's a sign that the heavens, or, you know, whatever, is trying to communicate with you. It's trying to get in touch with you, you know, for whatever reason. With these numbers, I see it like on my cell phone a lot. On my computer time, I see it. I see it on the TV. You'll see it sometimes in street signs that'll catch your attention. License plates sometimes catch your attention. You know, it's just weird stuff that all of a sudden you'll look and there'll be that triple number, you know. And it's just odd, you know, how it happens. But normally it happens with my cell phone a lot, with my cell phone and my digital clock, you know, that I have next to the bed and stuff. For whatever reason, I'll look at it and bam, it'll be a triple digit, you know. Really freaky. But for whatever reason, you know, I've been seeing it a lot, but I wanted to put this down because there is something to do with this. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, being I explained some of these to you, these categories, and I'm about to reveal the reason why these things together kind of like in one box, because I believe I have come up with an answer of why all of these things, and you're going to be kind of amazed when I tell you this, but let me see here if I can find it. I got it in the bookmark, and this actually comes from a course that you can get online. My cursor too fast. Okay, here we go. Let it scroll down to the bottom here so I can bring this up. Hello, Rob Gray. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Alrighty, here we go. This comes from study.com. Okay, and it has a lot of things in it, you know, like physics training and different things like that. Linear momentum, you know, work energy, Newton's laws in physics, nuclear type stuff, waves, sounds, whatever. But these are all studies that you can actually take. You know, they're lessons that you would take. You can take the whole course, or you know, whatever. They got quizzes in there and kind of things like that. It's pretty cool. So I use it on occasion when I want to get some educational, you know, things on this. And I just happened to run across this as I was doing my research on this. And I had this epiphany about wormholes, okay? So I got to thinking about Einstein and his theory, you know, about relativity and how you can bend space and all that stuff. So I know I'm going with this, you know, blah blah blah. Well, I want you to hear about what's going on here, because there's a lot more to this than most people realize. Okay, so I'll break it down real quick here, and I'll just tell you. In 1935, Einstein and his colleague, Nathan Rosen, discovered the theory of relativity allowed the existence of bridges that connect 2 points in space-time. If space and time are wrapped or warped or folded together, 2 points that are of greater distance from one another can be connected. These Einstein/Rosen bridges, which were later called wormholes, are essentially shortcuts that allow from one location into the universe to another location in a shorter amount of time. Okay, and then of course they give an easier way of looking at it for people, that if you take an apple and you have a worm that eats through the apple, I call it a wormhole, it can eat from one side of the apple straight through the other. Instead of trying to eat the whole apple, you know, it'll wind up on the other side much quicker than it would if it ate all the way around it. Okay. Now, according to this, there are 6 different type of wormholes. Okay. And they actually break these down. Now, if you got your pen and your paper handy, I need to have you write these down, and we'll go through them one at a time and give you the definitions and stuff like that. Okay. So the first type of wormhole is called a transversable, and that's spelled Traversable. Okay. And what these are is wormholes that we are most familiar with, like in science fiction. Traversable wormholes are the ones that we can pass through from one point in the universe to another. Alright, so these are the ones that most everybody thinks of when they think of a wormhole. That's the number one type. Number 2 is called non-transversable wormhole. Hello, Alexander. How are you, sir? Non-transversables. And these are wormholes that nothing can pass through, either because the wormhole collapses and it only has an entry point but no exit, or the person or the particulate entering it would be destroyed before reaching the other side. Okay, so I'll say that again. This is non-transversable. These are wormholes that nothing can pass through whatsoever, either because the wormhole collapses, okay, and it only has an entry point but no exit, or the person or the particulate entering it would be destroyed before reaching the other side. Alright. Number 3, it's called a one-way wormhole, which are exactly what it says. It's a one-way trip, meaning that you can only travel once through them, and you would need a separate wormhole for the return trip. So a one-way is going in but not coming back. Okay. And they associate black holes and white holes with this style of one-way wormhole. Black holes are actually types of one-way wormholes. Anything can enter into a black hole, but due to its gravitational pull, nothing can escape. Where with a white hole, which most people have never heard of, but they do exist, they're just the opposite. Nothing can enter into a white hole, okay? But there are things that do escape it, all right, all the time. It's just the opposite. Number 4 is a two-way wormhole. And of course, by the wording, you probably guessed it. They are wormholes with round-trip capabilities that allow you to return voyage through the same wormhole. If you ever remember the movie Caster, she's dropped through that deal. She goes into a wormhole, travels all around, meets her father, travels all the way back through the same wormhole. A two-way. Okay, that's what that is. Intra/universal or universe wormhole. INTRA/universe wormholes are located in our own universe and are for traveling from one point to another within our universe. Okay. Then you have an inter universe to another parallel universe. Okay. Now, these 6 wormholes, however, are rarely identified by themselves. All right. For example, a one-way wormhole can be transversable or non-transversable. An inter-universe wormhole can be a two-way wormhole. The ideal type of a wormhole for travel, and the one we see most often in science fiction, is an inter-universe two-way transversable wormhole. And you see how they put all them together? This wormhole would allow a traveler to make the journey transversable, stay within our universe, intra-universe, and use the same wormhole for the return trip, which is a two-way wormhole. Okay? You could take them all, kind of bunch them together and use it, but they do break them down and they are a separate wormhole. Okay? And it's kind of odd, kind of crazy on how it sounds, but that's, okay, creations of wormholes. There are 2 questions in the minds of many when thinking about wormholes. One is, how possible is it for us to travel through a wormhole? And 2, can we actually create one? Naturally occurring, despite the fact that we have yet to observe or measure a transversable wormhole, many scientists believe that wormholes occur naturally, but only at the particulate level. These microscopic wormholes are called primordial wormholes and can transmit tiny particles from one place to another. While they're not particular anything larger, including people, as the universe has expanded, these primordial wormholes may have grown in size. It's also theoretically possible for us to them ourselves out of quantum foam. Okay. You want to know what quantum foam is? It's a subatomic structure that may exist throughout the universe and is a billion trillion times smaller than the nucleus of an atom. Currently, however, we do not have the technology to manipulate or detect quantum foam. Despite our current limitations, there is a type of man-made wormhole that scientists have been able to create, and they accomplished this not too long ago. And it goes on and gives you that, but then you have to sign up for the thing or whatever to get the rest of it. So anyway, these are the wormholes that they talk about. Now, if you take these particular type wormholes and you go back to our list that I had everybody write down, and we can start off with like the strange disappearances that we discussed about earlier. Now you see them, now you don't. That would actually fall under the category of here a one-way wormhole, where you can only travel once through them, and you would need a separate wormhole to come back. So in other words, you're not coming back. Okay, you go in and you disappear. So that would be put under, the experiences and stuff of people would be a one-way wormhole. Deja vu, where you think you've been here before. Okay, your mind's saying, you get that. That very well could be part of a two-way wormhole. A round trip that allows you to return voyage through the same wormhole. It could also probably be like an intra-universe type wormhole or whatever, where it's just in our universe, that kind of thing. this was the one that really gets me, is the spontaneous human combustion, okay? And that would fall under the category of the non-transversible wormhole, where the wormhole that nothing can pass through, either because the wormhole collapses, it only has an entry point but no exit, and the person or particular entrant would be destroyed before. Well, what happens to these people? Their whole body pretty much is ash and soot. You still find the arms and limbs, so they are destroyed before they actually get to reach the other side, and it collapses in on them, and that's what you see is left, is this spontaneous human combustion, okay? You understand where I'm going with this? I think, and it's my theory, every person, young, old, whatever, every living person in this world, on this earth, has their own personal wormholes, regardless of, age or whatever. I believe that at any particular moment, for whatever reason, these portal/wormholes, call it what you will. I haven't really given it a definite name yet, but maybe we can come up with one. These personal portals pull you in, and this is what happens. The missing time would fall under the two-way, okay, wormhole round trip, that would allow you to return voyage through the same wormhole, all right. You go there, you come back, Same thing with the out-of-body death experience. Two-way again, you go in, you come back, all right. And of course, the triple-digit numbers, I think what that is, and I'm still working on it because, like I said, it's been driving me nuts. I hate to think that you got a wormhole that's going to be opening up. Look for it, be aware of it, or whatever. And or it could be the cosmos, wormhole energy, whatever, letting me know that everything's okay. I really don't know yet. I'm still working on this part of it, but I definitely believe it is part of this agenda. This very thing. Now, here's the thing about this. There is kind of two or whatever, but hear me out now on what I'm going to say. When you're awake, you get up in the morning, you have yourself a cup of coffee, you're feeling good, whatever, you're free of sickness, your body is, as we know, it's got energy, just tons and tons of energy inside your body, your brain's firing, everything's doing good, you are at 100% peak level, okay? This is where we're susceptible to these energy fields, and at any given time it could open up and just take you, swallow you, do whatever. Other folks aren't so healthy. Some people are sick. They have breathing issues like me, or heart attacks. You're a little bit weaker, okay? Maybe you missing limbs or something of that nature, or you have asthma, or something like that. So your energy level isn't quite 100%, say maybe 75, okay? And then you have other people that are just downright incapacitated, wheelchair bound, bed bound, bedridden, whatever. You're still alive, but your energy level 50%, okay? It's just like a battery in your automobile, okay? The lower, the harder it takes to start your vehicle until you can't start it. All it does is click. You get down to that point of death, and and that very last little bit of energy you have disappears. Now, why am I saying what I'm saying about the 100% to zero? Those people that we bury or have cremated, or we bury them in the ground, are the people that make it through life, through your human life, your whatever, and you live out your energy level to the point of zero. Okay? These other people that just all of a sudden disappear and don't return, they're at the peak, the 100% level. The greatest brand new battery, sparks flying, you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. These are the people that have these other experiences and whatnot. Therefore, there's no body left to come back. Your human flesh, everything, bone, human flesh, matter, everything disappears. There's nothing left. Okay? Those that we bury, those that die at home or in a hospital or whatever, their energy levels have dropped over time, and you're still here. Now, that's not saying that you still don't have a spirit after you die and it's gone. All I'm saying is you don't have the same spirit that that person had that just disappeared into thin air. Okay? Your energy levels, are up and down. So, and that's my theory that I'm working on and how this works. Because, you can question yourself and say, okay, then, if people disappear into a wormhole and don't come back, obviously, they're in a transversible wormhole or a non-transversible or whatever, or maybe a one-way. But how is it, like with the out-of-body experiences people, well, that would be a two-way wormhole, and the people that die and we have their body, we can still see them, Well, this is true. You're still using the wormhole, but it's such a nil thing that the only thing is spirit, and that's it, It's kind of crazy stuff. The same thing goes that we see or people know of, when you get the paranormal and stuff like that. I believe that they are still using their two-way wormholes. It was a one-way, possibly a non-transversible, where their spirit couldn't go all the way through. So they're kind of stuck here, okay? So you can play around with these 6 different types and think of all the things like I'm thinking here, with people disappearances, out-of-body experiences, ghosts, and all that. And you will find that one of these types of wormholes, if not 2 or 3, fit the description that you're thinking of. Okay? So this is how I'm coming up with this. Now, they claim, well, wormholes are only microscopic, blah, 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 blah. I don't believe that, okay? Here's the thing. When something like that happens, especially an energy field or whatever, you're probably not going to see it. You're probably not going to smell it or hear it or any of that stuff. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like, now you see me, now you don't. It's just gone for whatever reason. And I believe that that's what's happening. So I hope I explained myself, to people well enough so you understand where I'm coming from. But who knows? But this is what I come up with, and it just kind of hit me as an epiphany, like I said, after listening to some of these other shows. And this is the UFO/alien thing with it, because to me it's a whole different ballgame. But as far as abductions and things like that, and it very well could be that there are some abductees that don't come back, whatever. Now, with that being said, you heard me talk about my visitation slash abduction. I'm getting to the point where I believe more now that I may have had a wormhole slash out of body experience with my visitors, and this is why I could be transported through the window, and such things, and how they could transport themselves maybe through the wall or through the window to get to my bedroom. Maybe this is what we were using, because I don't have that recollection of being on a craft, okay? The other type abductions, like with Travis Walton and Betty and Barney Hill, they seen the craft was still there, it hit them with the light, it took them up, so they knew they were inside the craft, blah, 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 blah. Two different styles of abductions, totally different, okay? So, there you go, Maddie, nice to see you guys. Sorry for rambling. But anyway, if you'd like to call in tonight and discuss what we've been discussing, of course the number here, if you want to write this down real quick, is 855-836-7394. Give me a call, give me your comments. Let's talk about this. Tell me what you think. Am I on to something? Am I just being wacko in the head? I gotta know. I gotta know. I gotta, am I right? Am I wrong? Am I, hello, Eric, thank you. Oh, this guy knows his stuff. Well, I appreciate that. I try. I really try. And I come up with the... Now, I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about this, especially in the depth that I've gone through to bring this out. And if I'm correct, it would change for people. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that I'm really onto something here. I really do. But I'll put in the link to that wormhole page where you can read the definitions and stuff like that. I'll put that in the Closer Encounters, and things like that, and you can read about it. But, you can come back and listen to my show, and you can come back and listen to this show, and you can jot down these 6 things that I wanted you to jot down and whatever, and put it in perspective for yourself and see what you think. But to me, it just makes perfect sense. But like I said, I may be totally wrong. I don't know, but I'm hoping I'm actually on this. Oh, what we got here? Oh my goodness, we got a lot of comments. Let me see what a couple of them are here. I know someone who was pronounced dead and somehow came back. I asked him if he saw a light or anything. He saw nothing while dead, nor did he know anything. What wormhole did he go through? He's still feeling great. Well, that would be a two-way. That would be a two-way wormhole. Where he went and came back. That's the thing to remember. If you know that you went and you came back, it has to be a two-way. You may very well be very interested. Thank you. Christina says you can put on your list the string theory and parallel worlds, and other point is Mandela effect. Yeah, very good. Yeah, the Mandela effect. Absolutely. Why not? All that. Do you think that the government gave Greys or anything other ET permission to abduct humans in trade for technology? You know what, Maddie? I've talked about that before, and quite honestly, no. I don't think that the government's in cahoots with aliens or any of that stuff. I don't think there was ever any contract. Uh, and here's the thing, and like I said at the beginning of the show, about the aliens and UFOs and stuff, people need to start taking a step backwards, okay, and stop all of this uh, conspiracy stuff with everything that have to do with ETs and UFOs. They are no different than we are in reality. You look at us, we go to the moon, we're planning a trip to Mars, and such things as that. By rights, they are just so much further advanced than we are. They can travel easier, do whatever, but we are basically doing the same exact thing as what they're doing, just in a different way, okay? So, and, like I said before, they're probably not even that far away. They could be on one of the moons of Jupiter, for all we know, but everybody gets this big idea, oh, they're trillions of light years away. I don't think so. I don't think they're that far away. I really don't. They just live, on a different atmosphere, different whatever. But do I believe that they come here? Yeah, absolutely. I have to say that. I have to believe in that. Such things as that. But are they in conspiracy with the government and all that? No, I don't believe that for a minute. I think it's all a bunch of nonsense. But that's me. You don't have to take my word for it. But, like I said earlier, you're talking about different types of abductions and things like that. Where people are like spooked to death and they're scared to death and they think they're demons and stuff like that. Those are the people that were abducted whole-bodily, okay? Where there's other folks that say they're benevolent and benign, like myself, where I don't believe my whole body went, okay? It was, I was transported out of body, so to speak. And I've kind of broke that down a few times before, and I honestly believe that that's how it works, as far as abductions and visitations and stuff. But, we can get into that much more later. So, if a person goes through the one-way wormhole, never to return, where do they go? Well, that's a very good question. And we won't know that. I don't think we'll ever know that until it's our time to go and we go, Now, it's very possible that, they could be on the other side of the universe someplace, hanging out, doing whatever. It's hard to say. Maybe a different dimension, maybe back in time, maybe forward in time. Who knows? I mean, it's anybody's guess, This is just a starting point for me as far as this goes. But I honestly think they wound up in the same place that people go when they die, It's just basically, I guess the way to look at it is it's a different form of death, is what it is. And these ghosts and paranormal things that you see going on or hear about that you watch on TV and stuff like that are the ones that they got caught in that particular wormhole. They couldn't escape, or they couldn't get through the wormhole. It's quite possibly they're stuck here, as an entity or whatever. Maybe they were to that point where their energy level just couldn't open that portal or whatever, and here they are. Speculative right now at this point as I'm working on this. I don't have all the answers yet, but I'm trying. But you know, so I don't know. But please, let people know about this. If you would, talk amongst yourself, talk to your friends or whoever. Share the video if you would, and say, hey, something's going on here. Maybe this guy's onto something, or maybe I'm just a wacko. I don't know, But I like to put a name to it. I'm not sure. Maybe something like personal portal wormhole, PPW, something of that nature. I'm not sure. Mom says makes you wonder about psychics who speak with the dead. Maybe they really do. Yeah, absolutely. And it's very, very possible. Because when you get on that type of an energy level, it's very possible that you could communicate that way. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it makes sense when you think about it. They're using that type of a portal, as a brainwave or whatever, and that's how they're connecting with the spirits and whatever. The thing is about this kind of a theory, as it is just a theory, but to me it just makes a lot more sense with certain things that happen. You can put these together, but this is new water. It's something that no one's really ever studied or really gotten into, So, yeah. I wish I could just, know for sure, that we're on the right thing here. But, yeah. Crazy stuff. Really crazy stuff. But when I get these epiphanies like this, and you guys had a few in the past, and different things like that, I get on these rants and things like this. This one, to me, is probably one of the better ones that has happened to me recently. And I'm working on it almost every day. I dig into different things and try to figure things out, as I go. So, but I could use some help. If anybody's got any type of information or knows anything or works with physics or any of this stuff, please, let me know. If there's something you could put in there, maybe it'll help us out with this this theory. I'd appreciate the interest. So absolutely. So anyway, yeah. Excuse me. But that's pretty much show. Like I said, I did talk about it Thursday night on my radio show, and we went down through the same kind of list and all that stuff. And I wanted to do it on live, so everybody got the word one way or the other. So let's see. So if people pass through the wormholes, maybe they still know who's going on back there. Maybe they still know what's going on back here. It's quite possible that they know. But then again, especially a one-way, if they're using a one-way and they don't come back, I think they're already at the other side, so to speak, and there's no way for them to make that contact or come back. It's hard to say. I don't know. But a different dimension or something like that, they could be parallel with us, and they could be hearing everything that's going on, but there's just nothing they can do about it. It's really, it's one of those deals that about and see how it works. But there are certain questions that, you know, the answers are going to be pretty iffy on at this point anyway. Um, but yeah, anything's possible or plausible. Yeah. So, but yeah, the one that really gets me is like the deja vu, the strange disappearances of people, and especially the spontaneous combustion ones. That one really got me, which got me to thinking about that one. You know, that the portal just collapses on them, and you know they burn. That's it, destroyed on the spot. You know, so it's been thought for years that spontaneous combustion was an alcoholic problem, where people are so consumed with alcohol or whatever that that's what burns their bodies up. Well, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of heat to burn bone. Let's face facts here. This ain't something that, you know, it ain't like you can pour gasoline on somebody and just, you know, turn them to ash. It takes a lot. Matter of fact, when you're in a crematorium, and you can look this up, sometimes they run the remains through 2 or 3 times to get everything burnt down to the point of putting you in the urn, because there's too big of fragments and stuff that, you know, whatever. So for this to happen first time, every time, you know, there's got to be some form of energy there, you know, to have that happen. It just doesn't, no. And that's people that get struck by lightning, all right? That's a very, very powerful type of energy, electricity. Do they disintegrate? No. You know, their blood boils, things of that nature. Good from work there was hit, you know, a couple of years back with his little girl in his arms. He actually survived. He's totally blind and whatever, has hearing problem, you know, different things like that. He's totally disabled. His daughter had burns on her, but, you know, they healed up and she's fine. Nothing wrong with her. So, you know, there you go, you know. So, yeah, it would take a lot of energy to burn bone down to that point and different things like that. So, to me, I just don't fall for the alcohol thing, liquid combustion, you know, whatever. I just see it happening. I mean, you would have to be like a sponge, just filled, dripping, sopping wet, and I still don't think it would be enough. You know, I don't see it. I just don't see it. So, nah. I'm not going to fall for that answer. I'm not. So, you know, there's more to it. Because when you're talking about, all right, here's the thing. When you're talking about wormholes and things like that, you have to understand the type of energy that's being used here. You're talking energy, you know, the nucleus of an atom, you know. So this ain't no small feat. I mean, this is something that's just, you know, I couldn't explain it, you know. You take that kind of energy, like the atom bomb that we built, you know, years ago or whatever, and you think of that kind of power, you know, but yet more of a frequency style power or whatever. That's a lot, you know. Well, some people think the Big Bang started because of an atom, you know, and look what happened, you know, it created the universe, if you believe in the Big Bang. So, yeah, that's a lot of power. Absolutely. Crazy stuff. So, but the wormhole thing, I think, you know, I think everybody has their own personal portal, their own personal whatever. And some people walk through them and don't even know they walk through them, you know, and I think it just happens, you know. It ain't like you can summons a portal to open and you can just step through and come back. Maybe someday somebody can figure that kind of thing out. People like Edward Casey, for instance, you know, different other ones, you know, who were quite the psychic, you know, had a lot of psychic abilities and different things like that. You know, maybe they came close. You know, I don't know. Pretty fascinating stuff, though. You know, it's really something. So, I don't know, folks. I'm kind of stumped, but yet, you know, I think I really am onto something. You know, it's a whole lot answered, so to speak, a lot of questions, you know, but I really, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to do some more research and try to figure out how to work, you know, one way or the other, but I don't know. Wish me luck, will you? You know, I don't know. So if you think I'm onto something or whatever, let me know. Send me a message. You know, hopefully, you know, we could talk about it and whatever, and we'll keep you up to date. But I'll post a few links on the stuff that I've come up with so far. I'll make a big post about it or whatever, and you know, I'll get it set up and send it to you guys, and do kind of a write-up kind of thing, and you know, then you can read it or do whatever. But who knows? Maybe this will turn into a book or something, and I can publish it. I don't know. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and you know, you ones that are sharing it and everything else in these other groups and stuff like that. God bless you. Thank you very much for that. It definitely helps us out, and you know, it keeps the show alive. It keeps us going. So, yeah, thank you all very, very much. So in the meantime, we'll be back Monday night. For those that don't know what that is, you know, that's an app you can download. You know, it's another listening app. We're also on Spotify. We're on Google Play, iHeartRadio, any type of listening, any type of place that, you know, has music or whatever on it, you can find it. Just look for Closer Encounters Radio, and it should bring us up. But yeah, they got us scattered all over the place now, so it's pretty amazing. Good deal. So, but anyway, thank you all for being here tonight, and all the best. And keep in touch. Let me know what you guys think about this, one way or the other. All right. Until we meet again, keep your eyes to the skies, folks. Thank you. I want to thank you all for listening to Closer Encounters. Please remember to like, follow, and share. And until we meet again, keep your eyes to the skies. Thank you.